Tonight, we're bringing you a story so alarming, even federal agencies are running from it. Over the skies of New Jersey, a massive drone operation is underway. 5,000 sightings, 22 no-fly zones, and absolute silence from the people who should have answers. The FBI and Homeland Security didn't even show up to the emergency meeting. But our sources tell us something far more sinister is at play. These aren't just drones, they are part of a classified operation that goes straight to the top. And what they're searching for, well, that's what they don't want you to know about. And just as these mysterious drones are tracking something across New Jersey, chronic pain can track your every move. But now there's Conolidine, the only natural solution that optimizes your body's pain fighting endorphins. While the government stays silent about their surveillance, you don't need to stay quiet about your pain. Join over 1 million Americans who've discovered Conolidine's drug-free relief power. Visit trycono.com/NNN for a special viewer discount. Don't let pain monitor your every move. Fight back naturally with Conolidine. You have nothing to lose but your pain. It's linked down below, and we thank them for their support of this program. So this just came out. Law enforcement leaders across multiple states are forming a drone working group to address the mysterious surge in drone sightings over New Jersey and the Northeast. Nearly 50 officials from 19 state, local, and federal agencies convened at Rutgers University to discuss what they're calling potential drone threats. The meeting, hosted by New Jersey State Police, brought together representatives from agencies like the FAA, Naval Weapons Station Earl, and even the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Officials debated the implications of over 5,000 drone sightings reported since November, with 100 cases under federal investigation for their potential ties to public safety or national security concerns. In true deep state fashion, federal agencies like FBI, Department of Homeland Security, conveniently skipped the meeting. Why? Maybe because they don't want you asking the tough questions. Instead, the group at Rutgers sifted through data, examined counter-drone tech, and debated federal legislation needs, all while grappling with concerns over critical infrastructure. Threats in the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup final at MetLife Stadium. So here's what they're not telling you. The FAA claims many of these sightings were just stars or helicopters. Are we supposed to buy that? Stars don't buzz critical infrastructure or require 22 no-fly zones across New Jersey and 30 in New York. And the so-called warnings about pointing lasers at drones, it's a smokescreen for their failure to address real threats, as laser incidents skyrocketed by 269% this month alone. This is not just about drones, it's about control, surveillance, and their ongoing attempts to monitor and manipulate the public under the guise of safety. As officials draft plans for interagency protocols and push for new federal legislation, ask yourself who benefits from this coordination. Is it about protection, or is it another expansion of Big Brother's surveillance state? So what's next? Banning drones completely? Using counter-drone tech to sweep up more of our freedoms? So, folks, we need to stay vigilant. This is not just a working group. It's the groundwork for something much bigger. This was NewJersey.com posting this article. Dozens of law enforcement leaders form multi-state group to address potential drone threats. And as you guys know, back in December 14th, we broke this story. It went mega viral across the web that we received intel from a verified high-level source that these mysterious drones are actually our drones, tracking gamma rays linked to possible WMDs in a massive counter-terror campaign. And it is by the Office of Global Access, a shadowy three-letter agency, has deployed advanced surveillance assets to hunt for stray nuke or mass casualty weapon hidden on the east and west coast. So we broke this. This post got 5.8 million views and certainly contributed to the conversation about what's happening in our skies. And many are saying this is a psyop. This whole thing is just a psyop.
Radar tech. And now we just find out on December 15th, all of a sudden it's New York Senator Chuck Schumer professes he's ignorant. He doesn't know. He's calling for the federal government to deploy recently declassified radar technology to finally identify the mysterious swarms of drones. Yeah, look at the psyop going on here. Look, even a New York senator is like, maybe we should use some recently declassified radar tech. Like, there's no such thing as giant 8-foot fixed wing droney things flying around over Air Force bases, over the highly contested, super secure East Coast airspace that we don't know about, or worse, that we aren't operating at the federal government level. Full stop. So this tells you that there's some sort of a psyop operating. And again, there's a little still from the video. That thing's lit up like a Christmas tree. It's designed to be seen. So what is this actually about? Well, two possibilities. First, the government knows what the drones are, but it's the government is powerless to do anything about them and doesn't want to panic the public. So they are lying about them, okay? And number two, the government is operating the drones and is lying about them. One way or the other, we know the government is lying here. There's so much.
One way or the other, right? And of course, we had this from President Trump on December 16th after our post went mega viral.
The government knows. Yeah. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been doing regular?
I won't comment on the intelligence briefing, but maybe if they're in a garage, right? Here is Josh Hawley on that.
No, if our government. Yeah, you can't tell me that we don't know what that is. I just think they're not being honest with us. I think that if we don't know, if our government really has no idea, then they're even more incompetent than I thought. We've got to get to the bottom of this, and they need to level with the American people about what's going on. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Here's Ocean County, New Jersey Sheriff Michael Mastronardi with Neil Koodo. As you know, Neil Koodo is out at Fox, discussing how his department launched their own drones to investigate these sightings.
Started learning the press with the sheriff is that he wanted to find out for himself what these drones were about, so he launched some drones of his own to see what they were about. Sheriff, good to see you. What did you discover?
Well, we started a week ago. We tried to do it quietly, and then the people started learning about it. And what we did is we put up our own tether drone at one of the highest parts in the county, Sergeant Fennessy and Officer D'Amico. And on the first night, they did spot a object in the sky that they believed to be a drone. And they tried to get a thermal image off of it, and they gave very little thermal image to that device. And then that came around them, and then it shut off its lights and left them, reported their report, approximately 60 to 70 miles an hour.
Whoa. So could they tell how big they were, Sheriff?
Well, they said it was twice as big as what we have, and we have some big drones that are about 2 by 2, and so they were quite big. And then the following night, we went out Sunday night to the same location, and at that point we got a call that there was a drone sighting in Island Beach State Park. As reported in the media, an officer with the Island Beach State Park Police reported that 50 drones were coming from the ocean towards the mainland. At which point, the officers, myself, packed up, responded over. It took us about 15 minutes to respond to where the officer's location was. And we then made notifications to our federal and state partners.
With the sheriff is that he wanted to find out for.
Wow. We got some more on that. Let's keep going. Of course, who can forget this Patriot lady. Finally, someone explains why the drones are in New Jersey. Chris Christie needs to be supersized. Of course, this is an AI-generated video, but Donald Trump posted something similar to that. Let's take a look at what was posted by Real America's Voice. This is an assistant director of the FBI saying he shouldn't be uncomfortable in front of Congress. The expert, Greg Hartley, analyzes the body language of the FBI during their testimony regarding the mystery drones.
But I figured let's go to the federal agents from the FBI that were talking about saying, hey, we don't know what this stuff is, and see if we can analyze a little body language here. So this is the chairman of the committee asking the assistant director of the FBI about this. Let's roll it.
What is going on in New Jersey?
So, sir, the FBI and our Newark field office, along with the state and local partners there, the Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned.
Greg?
Yeah, so really interesting for me. This is an assistant director of the FBI. Should not be really uncomfortable in front of Congress. Probably a thing that they should be accustomed to. But his discomfort is absolutely clear. Look at his fingers are curled in the beginning, and he's adapting with that microphone. Watch his hand jiggle a little when he reaches for that microphone. He's adapting by releasing nervous energy by playing with the microphone, and he's not making eye contact. All that is a sign he's uncomfortable. And he answers the question asked, not the intended question. He said, what's going on in New Jersey? He really wanted to know what's going on with these UFO or drones. He didn't want to know, what are you doing about it? And he answers a different question. He also avoids restating what the guys said. And then the guy sitting next to him, open mouth breathing, surely doesn't look too comfortable either. So,
yeah, they know what's going on for sure. 100%. Of course, here's the Pentagon.
To address this, Pentagon is doing to address. Sabrina, can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards.
Oh, yeah. We have this, though, a New Jersey mayor saying these drones are high tech.
For openness. So we have a little bit of facts that we've garnered in the past month or so, especially in the last week, that we've really ticked up calling for openness and transparency. So here's what I know from our briefings. I know for a fact that we were told there are drones hovering over New Jersey's critical infrastructure. What is that? Well, here in New Jersey, we have 2 nuclear plants. We have the Picatinny Arsenal. We have multiple reservoirs. We have Trump Bedminster. So plenty of infrastructure here, plenty of top security sites here in New Jersey. We know for a fact that drones are over them. We also know, and this is a quote from our governor, one of the rare times he's actually spoken on this. By the way, I didn't mention that when we convened that meeting last week with every single mayor, the governor was a no-show. He had about 200 COVID-related press conferences, yet has been very, very quiet on this topic. So we know for a fact that they're up there. Our governor, in one of the rare statements that he did make, he said that our New Jersey State Police helicopters have actually gone up, this was early on, and tried to actually pursue or try to get close to a drone, and the drone turned off and disappeared. Those are his words, not mine. We also know from our state police that these drones are not emitting radio frequencies. So when people say We're seeing personal drones or we're seeing commercial drones. And believe it or not, there is some misidentification going on. I'll give you that. But when people say that these are nothing but personal drones and commercial drones, it's simply not true. These drones are high tech, something like our government would have, or maybe a foreign adversary would have. They are not emitting a radio frequency, which makes it really difficult to track them, but makes it impossible to knock them out of the sky with a jammer. Because if they don't have a radio frequency, you can't jam them, you can't bring them down to the ground. So we have
now Chanel Rion, she just did a whole story. People are asking, like, what happened? All the drones over New Jersey. It was the biggest story every night. Now nothing. Well, that's why we're covering it tonight. And you know, with Christmas, just, you know, a day away. Remember that there was no drone activity on Thanksgiving. Will there be drone activity on Christmas Eve? Will there be drone activity on Christmas Day? Of course, that would also indicate that these are government drones. And on a government holiday, they're not operating, right? So that's something we're going to be paying very close attention to. But let's take a look at what Chanel Rion had to say. Also, before we get to that, do you know they're now doing drone tours in New Jersey? News 12, New Jersey. Drone tours. The mysterious drone seen flying around New Jersey may have spawned a new tourist industry. How about that? And then Doreen Linder. She brings up this really interesting point. Aren't the drones reminiscent of the events in mass hysteria during the War of the Worlds radio broadcast, which also took place in New Jersey? Was H.G. Wells predicting what was going on today? The 1938 radio broadcast was not real. Today, people are seeing these drones with their own eyes. Let's take a listen now how Chanel Rion broke this down. She writes 12 hours ago, should we laugh or should we cry? The Biden White House has no cover story on these drones. Let's listen to Chanel's report.
Orson Welles, they say the foundation of a good relationship is good communication. And when it breaks down, well, so does everything else. And that's what happened the past few weeks between the American people and the federal government. Total breakdown as America is driven into a state of panic worthy of Orson Welles himself. The union between the American people and the federal government was never a love story per se, but it's clear the relationship has seen better days. There seems to be a complete breakdown in communications, in particular around mysterious drones flying over New Jersey and now the eastern seaboard. No clear answers as to what these drones are, alarming the people and even America's governors.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
You can bet those governors are talking to President Trump, as you just heard. Authorities say they've deployed a state-of-the-art drone detection system to get a closer look. But Congress has been kept in the dark. So much so that Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says she has her ammo ready to pick these things out of the sky herself. They wouldn't offer any words of reassurance, but the federal government were clear on at least one point, one very dubious point, that these drones or UFOs are not ours, yet they're not harmful.
Nothing nefarious, apparently, but they're checking it all out. I think it's just one. There's a lot of drones authorized up there. I think one started and they all got it. Everybody wanted to get in the deal.
The incohesive messaging surrounding these drone sightings has only fueled alarm. Because we know, if this were genuinely a foreign invasion and our government was really in the dark about it, would the government that pats down grandma's knitting bag at the airport really shrug this off as no big deal? We're being played for fools by our own government, and the lack of transparency by a government that clearly knows more than they're telling us has naturally caused an outbreak of theories. Here are the top 3 theories so far, based on what we know and what the government is selectively not telling us. They're either ours, they're foreign adversaries, or it's an alien invasion. So here it is. Number 1, it's our own government. This theory has advocates that say that these are our own drones, and they point to the fact that these drones apparently have landing gear and red light landing lights. This, so far, is the strongest theory. It knocks out the other scenarios. And again, the White House itself addressed the issues raised by local officials, and the answers they gave were dodgy as you know what. Here's Mayor of Belleville, New Jersey's Mayor Michael Melham.
More than likely, it's not a foreign adversary because they would be able to figure out how to turn off the blinking lights. These drones are huge. We had a mayor yesterday on the call with the White House telling them that he had 6-foot drones hovering over his house. Yet they continue to tell us we don't know what we're talking about.
These drones also seem to be flying in a grid pattern, indicating that they're hunting for something. At around the same time as these drone sightings, the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission reported that a Category 3 load of radioactive material had gone missing on December 13 in New Jersey. This fueled the drone sniffer theory, speculation that the drones were sniffing for a possible dirty bomb. Now, the Biden Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration rebuked this theory. It claims the department does not utilize drones to search for missing nuclear material, and that, yes, a load of germanium-68 had indeed gone missing in New Jersey, but that they ended up locating the material. End of story. Right? Nope. Turns out, this may be a sneaky way to dismiss an actual concern. This article and the statement from the Biden administration cites material that went missing on December 2 and was found December 10.
Listen to this.
Conveniently ignoring the fact that nuclear waste material for a medical scanner did in fact go missing on December 13 in New Jersey. Now, the radiation levels contained in this missing shipment is minuscule, but given what the government is not telling us, maybe this is one of many missing shipments of nuclear waste. Let's hope not. UFO expert George Noory says these drones, or manned aircraft, as our Pentagon alluded to, seem more militaristic in nature, but the amounts of them and the ability to go dark and evade seem contrary to Biden's take, indeed nefarious. Theory number 2, it's a foreign adversary. Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey was one of the first elected officials to respond to these drones. He voiced the first concern on many Americans' minds that this must be the work of an international adversary. Congressman Van Drew claimed to have intelligence that Iran parked a mothership off the East Coast and sent drones to spy on us. After all, this administration let Chinese spy balloons slide. Why not Iranian drones the size of cars? Pentagon, of course, was quick to dismiss that these came from any foreign enemy. However, the intel was never brought up again.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there right now. Let's put that one with the Iranians off to the side.
And finally, theory number 3, it's aliens.
My concern is if it's not craft from outer space, because I think that has to be on the table. That has to be an option.
Now, this approach, or this theory, has an interesting basis, if only based off of some unverified footage showing these things moving and operating in ways that go beyond current known drone capabilities. Operating, for instance, for 4 to 5 hour stretches of time, or speeding up and disappearing in ways that are unusual for drones. Just this year, Congress, our own military, some experts addressed the very real rash of UFOs, or UAPs, as of late, all citing activity from objects that seem more advanced than anything even the most powerful country and most powerful militaries on Earth have. If aliens were to arrive one day, would you be surprised that our government wouldn't tell us until it's too late? Joining us now for a reaction is the mayor you heard from earlier, the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, Michael Melham. Mayor, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I laid out three theories. I played a soundbite from you earlier this week. At this point, given what you know, what you have seen, and how you've seen our government react to this story, which camp do you feel like you fall on at this point? in your belief about what these are?
I mean, let's just quickly discount the little green men, or as I've been corrected on social media, as a matter of fact, that they might not be green men, they may be gray men, but let's just discount that one for a second. I'm more of the opinion that these are definitely our federal government assets. We're probably looking at some new tech here, potentially even new tech that members of Congress aren't even aware of, because we were told some facts. I've had briefing after briefing, and we're told by our New Jersey State Police that these things are not emitting a radio frequency. Which tells you, forget about them being, a personal drone or a commercial drone, because they have to emit a radio frequency. These are not, which is why we can't track them well, which is also why we can't jam them and bring them out of the sky. So more than likely, foreign adversary, which I doubt because they have blinking lights, as we've discussed. I'm certain that a foreign adversary would figure out how to unscrew the lights. So therefore, it's got to be our government.
Right. Well, okay, so you've had conversations, or you've been on calls with the White House, and you've shared that the White House has been very
Chanel Rion, she lays it out there. This is what we've been covering for weeks and weeks now. And, according to our own source, that's exactly what's going on. These are our drones, and they are sniffing for radiological material. And she brought up a really interesting point in that piece, that the original radioactive material that was missing from the medical device could have very easily just been a cover story for what we know. That this could be a dirty bomb or worse already on our soil. So we're going to find out, though, right? We're going to find out if they're up there on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But what we've uncovered tonight about these drones isn't just disturbing. It's a wake-up call. While officials claim they're stars or helicopters, our high-level sources tell us this is a massive counter-terror operation searching for something that could change everything. The government silence isn't just deafening, it's deliberate. And with the World Cup coming to MetLife Stadium, President Trump's inauguration around the corner, the stakes couldn't be higher. So here's what I need to know from you tonight. Do you believe these drones are part of a legitimate security operation, or is this just another example of government overreach and surveillance? Share your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to grab our exclusive MAG Avengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, because sometimes looking up isn't paranoia, it's patriotism.